This resume was getting 0 interviews until I made these changes. First, we have a master's degree, so we put that in our name. Next, I needed to tidy up the contact info by hyperlinking our LinkedIn URL. Much better. And we'll center that. Much better. Now, we need to replace an objective statement with a nice professional summary that shares our year's experience and all of our best skills. And if you want to throw in some passions here, that is fine as well. Next, let's move the education down to the bottom because it's a little less important at this phase in our career. Then we get rid of the dates and we're going to put the credentials at the front for education, school second. Next, this experience section needs a lot of work. So first, we'll just tidy up the formatting because presentation does matter in these things. Next, these bullet points are absolutely garbage. We want to make sure they all start with nice, powerful action verbs. They include a lot of specific detail, and where we can, adding numbers and results will really help bolster the impact of our bullet points. I'm not going to make you watch every single bullet point I wrote, so let's just skip to the end here. And much better. Now I like to call the technical section technical proficiency. Now our content is looking good, but I'm just going to reformat the headings a little bit, try to make this thing pop visually. You'll see here also adding a professional title so we can brand ourselves appropriately. Tidy up the bullet formatting. Now we're looking pretty good, but we need to make a little space because a resume is not complete without a key skills section. So we'll downsize the line spacing to make a little extra room. We'll adjust the margins, and then we'll insert a key skills section. To make this look nice, I'll usually put in a little table. We'll add some check mark bullet points, my favorite. Get rid of the borders here. We don't need those. And then we'll add in some key skills that we find in the job description that we're applying to. Looking much better. And here's the finished product. And for more help, check out the free resume writing course in my bio. There is a wild trend on the job market right now called overemployment. Overemployment is when a person is simultaneously working 2 full-time remote jobs, essentially doubling their salary. Obviously, CEOs hate this. They're calling it stealing and unethical. But a lot of employees are clapping back saying, if I can meet all of my expectations that you have of me, who cares? Besides, it's not like there's not a long history of employers stealing our time from us if we're working extra and not being paid more. And how common is it to be given someone else's job to do on top of your own? Obviously, there are huge risks to overemployment. People are burning out. People are getting fired. Inflation is pushing us to do some wild things right now. So I wanted to know, do you think overemployment is unethical or should we just go for it? Let me know in the comments. Interviewers these days are expecting you to answer the questions with a certain format, and people who use this format are much more likely to get hired. We call this format the Carl method. Carl stands for context. What job and situation were you in the story you're about to tell? Action. What steps did you take to move through the situation you're describing? Results. Were you successful in this story and how do you know? And this last one is the difference between an 8 out of 10 answer and a 10 out of 10 answer, and guess who's getting hired? The person who gives the 10 out of 10 answer, of course. L stands for learning. What did you learn as a result of this experience, and how have you used that information to be better moving forward? For more interview help, check out my free ebook, How to Prepare for Job Interviews. If you applied to a job a while ago and you haven't heard back, here's an email you can send to the hiring manager to check in and continue building the relationship. Dear name, I recently applied to the job title, position in your department, and I wanted to reach out and let you know personally how excited I am by this opportunity. I submitted my application on date, and I haven't yet been contacted about next steps. I understand you're very busy and you may still be in the selection process, but I also know the applicant pool for a great organization like this would be very competitive, so it's possible you've gone ahead with other candidates. I would love to know if I'm still in consideration, and if not, I would sincerely appreciate any feedback you could provide me so I can continue to improve for future opportunities. Thank you so much. For more valuable job search scripts and emails, check out my free ebook, 9 Must-Have Emails for Your Job Search. If the time has come to quit your job and you don't want to burn any bridges, here's what you say to your boss. Also, I'd recommend doing this over email so they have some time to process this in private. Subject is Notice of Resignation. We're just going to be direct about it. And here's the email. Hi, boss. I'm reaching out with mixed emotions to let you know that I've accepted another offer and I need to submit my notice. I have had an absolutely incredible time working here. The mentorship you provided and all the developmental experience I was exposed to here have been key to my growth and success, so thank you. My last day available to work here is blank. And I want to do everything I can to set you and the team up for success after I depart. So please let me know as soon as you'd like to get together to discuss transition planning. Thank you. For more email scripts you'll need, check out my free ebook 9 must-have email templates for your job search. It's linked in my bio. This could be the reason that your resume is getting rejected before anyone even reads it. So most companies are using a software called an applicant tracking system to scan your resume for keywords. This means you could be extremely qualified for a job, but if you don't have the right keywords in your resume, you are not getting past the scanner. Here's how you fix that. First, find a few job postings that you are interested in related to your field of work, and copy and paste them so you can put them in a word cloud. Wordclouds.com is a great tool for this. And whichever words are the biggest are the ones you want to include as keywords on your resume to get past those scanners. Just be aware of keyword stuffing, because if you put these words in too many times, you can be penalized for that as well. Now there's plenty more to learn about applicant tracking systems, but learning how to use keywords is the best place to start. Like this video and follow me, and I'll explain more about how ATS scanners are ranking your resume. And remember, you deserve a job you love. If your resume is structured with a job title, company name, and then a bullet point list of tasks you did in each job, we have an issue. Hiring managers do not want to see resumes set up like this. This could be costing you job opportunities. Don't worry though, this is completely fixable. If you want to impress the hiring manager and start setting up interviews, you need to get rid of that list of tasks, or weak sauce bullet points as I call them, and replace them with some seriously badass bullet points. What is a badass bullet point? It is an accomplishment. And this doesn't mean you have to have won an award. There are accomplishments everywhere. Anytime you helped your employer move towards a goal, that is an accomplishment. Here is a quick list of example accomplishments. And the way we lay out those badass bullet points to sell our accomplishments looks like this. Check out my free ebook, 54 Badass Bullet Points for your resume, linked in my bio. Here are 2 ways to show a promotion in your resume that'll make you look good. Option 1, if the promotion is similar to the role we had below and we've just added more responsibilities, we can combine the jobs like this. And we'll write a little overview like this to draw their attention to the promotion. Feel free to screenshot this and use it word for your next promotion. Now before I show you the second way to do this, which is a lot more common, if you don't want to be starting your resume from scratch and you want to make sure it is a 10 out of 10, check out my Mega Resume and Cover Letter bundle. It has lots of templates and examples and content you can copy and paste straight into your resume. Now option 2, if the promotion is a substantial change, we're going to list both jobs separately. So that'll look like this. And we're going to use a line like this one in yellow to highlight that promotion as an additional accomplishment. Never admit you were fired, and never say I quit if they ask you why you left your last job in a job interview. Here are safe ways to answer, why did you leave your last position in a job interview? Instead of, I quit because I hated the job,